Good afternoon. My whole face is obscured today because you don't really need to see my face to be doing these things, do you? Do I? So, again, this is sort of a wee relaxing thing for me to be doing. I'm gonna do a bit more looking at and organizing all of these cards. So, last time I put away all of the Wizards of the Coast stroke vintage cards that I got in the mystery bundles that I bought a couple months ago, a month or so ago, can't really remember. And today I thought I would go through some of the early modern era cards that I collected for a short while when I was a teenager, and I strangely decided to start collecting Pokemon cards again. I bought this folder, very plain one, yesterday because I didn't yet have one, just had these loose sleeves. Just needed somewhere to put them, so nice and plain suits me. So I'll put them away first. So I don't know how much I'll do today because I don't quite a few. Oh my goodness. It's a question of how long I really want to spend on this and how much I have to say about things, and it's not so much for others' sake as I want for myself this to be a reflective activity, and I found increasingly that not talking to myself, but recording myself as an opportunity to talk alone, it brings out thoughts and ideas that I would not have otherwise just thinking to myself. So that's my excuse for making a video out of this rather than just enjoying it on my own. You do wonder sometimes when you start doing these things, am I still able to enjoy things purely for their own sake, or does there have to be an ulterior motive, get a video out of it? Well, I don't know about that. So it's nice. It's the vintage stuff foldered away now, so that's the beginning of my collection, I suppose. That's quite funny. So I'll put them aside for now. At the end of the last video, or possibly just after it actually, I filed away the shinies, the holographic cards that I got in the card bundles, the modern era cards, the modern era shinies. So I actually do know most of these Pokemon. I stopped playing Pokemon after Black and White, so I have no idea what this is. Type Null, and I don't know Thievul. Thievul, is that right? Yeah, but that looks pretty ordinary. I don't know about Type Null. That's a bit disturbing. Alolan Raticate. I'm familiar with the idea of the Alolan region variations. Kind of a nice idea. So I'm not going to go through. I still have. It's probably the best part of 200. Whoops. Oh, that's a. No, never mind. Best part of 200 modern era cards from that mystery bundle. I'm not going to do anything with them right now. What I'm going to do, first of all, maybe leave this till afterward. I'm going to look through this box, which has the cards that, yes, I collected when I started collecting again as a teenager. So, I'm going to put the decks to one side for now. I bought a fair few decks when I was younger. These might be worth something actually, although I have a feeling that a few of them are complete and they're all opened and all that. Although it feels like I did replace the cards inside that came with these decks, which is quite encouraging, because what I was thinking I would do now, here's an oddity, picked up a long time ago on some random holiday in England, I think. What I thought I would do is go through the loose, or the kind of non-deck originating shinies, just to narrow down the amount of cards I'm going through, because I can't find something meaningful to say about all of these cards. I'm worried by the amount of Makuhitas I'm coming across that this actually has come from a pre-made deck, and I'm not going to be certain about not filing away a card that would be better staying in its original place. Yeah, this looks like a deck to me. Electric, fighting, psychic, a bunch of normal. Okay, I don't know where that came from. Was that one of the starter decks, or is that another deck whose box I have lost long ago? I'm going to rifle through these. Oh, here we are. So here are the shinies, because the sad thing about these is they have all bowed quite considerably, which is a shame. I didn't do anything to them, they've just gone that way. They're the only cards that have done it, so I suppose it's the way that the shinies are made. It possibly could have been averted if they had been in folders or sleeves all along, and possibly it could be undone, but maybe at the expense of their condition. But they are otherwise in good condition. So I'm gonna see how many more of these I can find. It shouldn't be difficult if they're all as bowed as that. I saw them pretty easily. I'm just gonna rifle through. So yeah, I did quite a bit of, I bought these pre-made decks, and I did a fair bit of kind of random booster pack buying as when I started collecting again. And I remember they were a bit more generous with shinies. I'm pretty sure you got one shiny in every booster pack. That seemed to me to be a guarantee. I think it happened with every single pack I got. And I remember you could get more than that, I think, but there seemed to be at least one in every pack. Maybe these duplicates that I keep seeing are just the result of really having collected a lot more than I kind of remembered doing so at the time. There's another Dunsparce, so I've got 3 of them. But it does feel as if these must have come from another pre-made deck that I forgot about. I might have to go back and so many energy cards, you don't get them from boosters. Yeah, I'm remembering something now. Yes, this rings bells. These Ralts and Curlias. I remember there was a Blaziken deck and there was a Gardevoir deck, and I think they actually came bundled together. It was a sort of Blaziken versus Gardevoir type deck. It was like a big... It was like a... Yeah, it was kind of a... a more beefy version of this starter pack type thing. Yeah, I remember this. So that might be where a lot... Oh, here we go. Here's some more shinies. I wonder why I don't have the box for that. It was possibly a very large, unwieldy thing that I didn't want to hold on to, or maybe it was... yeah, I wonder. That's certainly where some of these deck originating cards, not spoken for by the boxes I have, must have come from. More shinies. I thought I had more shinies. I had quite a lot of interesting ones. I'll get into in a minute. So, yeah, I see. And there will be, I think, a shiny Blaziken somewhere. So when I was collecting, I had them all in this box, and I had them just sort of banded up and kept together by type. And at other times, I think I had them... Oh! Well, that can't be right, because... that's the selection of cards in this band. And none of them are of the same type. Don't know, maybe I just like these cards. Okay, but take my word for it. Heal energy. I banded them up by type, and then I possibly had a separate band for shinies. Now, it's funny, when you've been playing games and using and engaging... Oh my god, 12 minutes already. Jesus Christ. When you've been doing these things for long enough, and for enough of your life actually revisiting these experiences, you know, I have a lifetime so far of not just playing games but replaying them, and in the case of, you know, collecting Pokemon cards, this is now the second time I've returned to this hobby. I have made a habit, I have made a lifestyle of returning to these experiences, and it does sort of warp your perception of your age. When you remember doing these things, it's hard to remember what age you were when you did them, because the time when I was collecting Pokemon cards again as a teenager, I think at that time I thought, I'm too old for this, but I look back on it and I have specific memories. The birthday party that I had for the birthday of the year in which I was collecting them, I spent it with some friends who seemed to inhabit a very early part of my life, and I had it at like a bowling alley, which was a really, you know, early high school type venue to have a birthday party at. So when you've done these things and gone away from them and come back to them, you can be surprised when you finally work out just how young you were. There's cards missing here. I wonder what the story is there. I might have to have a better route around. So for now anyway, One such, maybe I'll keep these separate. I don't know. I'm gonna file them separately for now anyway. Separately from the shinies that I got in the mystery bundles. These are ones that have a little bit, well, certainly a lot more history in them for me. So it's just one of these sort of generic reverse holos, which I think you can get a version of that for every card. So they're sort of, I don't know how fun they are really. A real trainer shiny. Nice card. Now, Lapras X. There's definitely a few EX cards that I remember having. I remember having a Raichu EX. Maybe I sold that. I like Ludicolo a lot. Find it very fun to use. Rain dish and leftovers type thing. In the game, that is. In the video game. Swampert. Kind of a generic card art. Oh, and it's a reverse shiny, actually. This e-reader stuff. Pretty early modern, I remember. Even if I wasn't back to collecting them quite at this stage, when I first played Generation 3, I was aware of the e-reader stuff, and that was actually, now that I think about it, a return to Pokemon for me. I had grown out of Pokemon after Pokemon Gold, and then returned to it. And I think I thought I was going to get rid of my Pokemon games after having not played them for ages and ages, as I saw it, but it may not have been very long. And I started another game on Gold, and ironically named my character some. I was doing it for a joke to myself. This wasn't public, so I wasn't doing it with a friend as such. But to myself, I was convinced, oh, I've grown out of this. Wouldn't this be funny to fire up this stupid old game again? And I named my character something stupid like Ballsack or something. I must have been, I don't know, like 10 or 11. It's very hard to remember. Maybe 12. And I very quickly found, oh my god, I love this game. I had so many good associations with it. So after that was before Generation 3. So when Generation 3 came out, it's funny, between Generation 2 and 3, I don't know how much time there was there, probably not very much. But I had grown out of Pokemon and come back to it all in that time. And so it seems like quite a long time. It probably felt like quite a long time then, but actually could have been less than a year that I went through that phase, and I've never gone back since. And because Generation 3 was probably the generation that I played and replayed the most, actually, possibly with the exception of 1, Generation 1. But for that reason, it's quite, like I was saying earlier, I have come back to those games in particular so many times that it's hard to access memories of the very first time that I played those games, Generation 3 in particular, because there are so many sort of echoes of that experience over the years that are maybe more vivid. And it's interesting that card like this with the e-reader logo, and I know on the other ones there's sort of a band of lines there for the scanning. That's something that reminds me of that time, which I have not returned to as often, such that it bears a kind of a watermark of the first time I was playing Generation 3 games, and it sort of, it can almost take you back to that first memory a little bit more reliably. That's a very nice card, isn't it? Jirachi. I did get a Jirachi in Generation 3. I bought Pokémon Channel and completed it just for the sake of Jirachi. If you completed Pokémon Channel, which was sort of a kid-friendly, like Hey You Pikachu on the Nintendo 64, kind of almost like, I don't know, I can't really remember the game very much, sort of, it's like Nintendogs for Pikachu. Maybe it wasn't really as much like that. That's certainly Hey You Pikachu, which I don't know if we ever got over here. Anyway, pretty kid-friendly, a lot of watching cartoons, mandatory watching of cartoons in the game. And if you completed it, you could download Jirachi to Pokemon Ruby or Sapphire. Raichu, kind of nice card. Oh, beard hairs all over the place. Nice page. Dark Electrode. I don't really have much fondness for the Team Rocket cards or the gym leader cards as such. Wormadam. Generation 4, I think. An interesting Pokemon that I never really used much. So that's its Steel type. Trash Cloak, rather. Yeah. Dark Magneton again. Yeah, so I know that there were Team Rocket and Gym Leader cards in the first generation as well. Sorry, in the vintage cards as well, but less of a strong association with them. It's probably after I was collecting most enthusiastically when I was very young, the first time. Here's a fun one. It's a nice card, and it's interesting to think that there's a shiny Metapod, because in the vintage cards, it really was, you really only ever had shinies of fully evolved Pokemon or Pokemon that didn't evolve in the first place, like a Snorlax or something. This is a nice card, in spite of the kind of rather on the nose branding. You know, Xdeoxys. This is the, it's from this series. Ta-da! So yeah, I always like that Metapod card for that reason. And I feel like I have a shiny Caterpie somewhere as well. I seem to remember it being strange that I had a shiny of each of those evolution lines, but I don't have it here right now. Shiny Venomoth. A lot of shiny grass types, as I remember, actually. So there's actually a few cards that have come to mind that I used to have. A Raichu X, Raichu EX, I don't really know how those are pronounced. I had a shiny Cast Form, Ice type, or like Hail form. I had, I've forgotten. I had a Wigglytuff X, EX. Credilli. Again, sort of generic, using the actual kind of promotional art, like that Swampert card. Not so interested in that, really. victory bell. And very last, reverse holographic energy. So lightning energy. That'll do. That's an incredibly long video. I don't know if anyone will ever watch this. I don't know if I would watch it. But yeah, it's more about how it facilitates sort of active reflection for myself. So there you go. It's like a diary, really. You don't always write a diary, and I'm sort of paraphrasing here, something I read, you know, with an eye towards posterity. I don't quite know where my thinking is with regards to that with these videos. Anyway, that'll do. Cheerio.